Yep. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, I'm super happy to be back doing a live. You know, we missed the last one for a whole bunch of reasons. It was kind of probably a good thing that it did because things went haywire here. But I'm also super happy that at least one of us combed our hair today. Right?
We can't both be perfect.
I know, right? We're gonna get some hellos in. Let's see what we got here. Well, I was chit chatting early with them early, so I'm get to the top. So Farm Ranch Homestead was first in. Good evening to you. The Bankers of Consequences is in the house. And I think it was us chatting for a while here. See, we were talking. We were having fun with you being on vacation. My goodness. Scroll down. Gizmo. There's the next one. Gizmo's in the house. Good evening to you, Gizmo. And Bessie, hello. We got TB. Thank you for the tap, like, and comment. Go down here. Eagle Lover, Texas. Good evening to you.
Howdy.
Louise Wesley's in the house. We were just talking to you. Let's see here. Midwest Ribeye, good evening. Easy, good evening to you. One Step Closer, what's up, bud? Try to get them all here. And the greatest name on internet,
Half Bubble
is in the house. And Leather Homestead. We're going to talk about you tonight. I know, right? Who else we got in here? I think I said Gypsy. If not Gypsy, how you doing, bud? Our friend Silver Lining is in the house. Dana Green, good evening to you. Mary Michelle, Mossy Oak Patriot, good evening to you. The Famous Life with Mike and Jen. I'm assuming it's Jen, because that's typically who's in the house. My buddy Adam and ACM Homestead and Cindy are in the house. See, Bird's Eye View, good evening to you. And the beautiful MJ in Wisconsin. Carrie Davis, Toby Baldwin. This keeps it going. Hey, my buddy, All American Prepper's in the house. We need to do a video again sometime soon. And Indiana Mike's in the house. Ahoy to you. Nidos is here. Hello, Nidos.
Hello.
Long time no talk. One More Rock, Nowhere Homesteady. What's up, bud? I think I got to the bid. And Starla Doak, good evening to you. Starla says she's watching. Here, I'll put it up there. Says she's watching from the hospital. So all you prayer warriors out there, make sure we're sending Starla
a speedy recovery.
Yeah, some prayers. Homestead Twins, good evening. Good to see you as well. David, good evening as well. Yeah, okay, I think we got them all. Well, we're going to talk about the holidays and missing the last live. And how was the holidays for you?
They were crunched together. It seemed like we're running to this event, and this event, and this event, and family here and family there. And it seems like we're running pretty regularly.
Amy B, good evening to you.
I don't know if the holidays have anything to do with that. We're pretty busy all the time anyway. So,
yeah. But this was the first holiday in a long time where we really didn't have one in our house.
Right.
We pretty much spent it everywhere else.
Yeah, we went to our son's house, had our Christmas gathering there. We went to my niece's house, had a Christmas gathering there.
You guys want to see the coolest present ever?
Which one, yours or mine?
No, well, you're going to show your coolest present ever. I'm going to show you mine coolest presents ever. Check these out. These are socks. This is my granddaughter. And so this is this is baby Nova, and this is what they got me for Christmas. So I now officially have baby Nova socks, which I think is just absolutely remarkable. For the record,
I think those are just adorable.
Yeah,
just adorable.
Yeah. So we both brought our favorite presents up.
Mine smells better.
Hers smells better. But you guys got to admit, that's really pretty cool, right? I mean, that's baby Nova socks.
And they're the pictures are so clear.
Yeah. So that's just absolutely cool. Hey, Amber Martin's in the house. Good evening to you.
Hello.
Yeah. Super sweet. So you want?
Do I get to show mine? Yeah.
Mine. No. All American Prepper says my mom is passing, so I'm sitting at the hospital with her. I'm so sorry to hear that, bud. There's no words out there, other than, again, if you'll take them, all the prayer warriors out there, can send some prayers to you. I'm very sorry to hear that, my friend. Casey Goatman, good evening to you. Helen, good evening. Dana Green, good evening. Tina, good evening to you. And I'm glad you are still holding the line. Tom, what's up? What else we got here? I think I got all those. I think I said Amy B. If not Amy B, how are you? Amy B is a warrior too. So let's talk about your favorite gift that you got.
Yes.
Check this thing out. So you got to model it. Got to get up.
You want me to put it on?
Yeah. Show them.
Look at this. Can you see that?
So it says B on it.
You're not going to be able to see me in it.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
So it has this strap in the back. You just...
Yeah. Just put it over. There you go. Yep. So I had this made from Leather Homestead, who's in the chat tonight, and actually I could not say that better, Jen. Look at that. That is perfect for a vacationing bee. Yep, absolutely great for a vacationing bee.
And then pockets.
Well, I also had, if you guys look, like right here, I had him not stitch the pocket all the way because I know when she's out there butchering and stuff, water and stuff can get in those pockets. And so that way it allows the water to drain. Yeah. But what's the, man, it just smells so good.
Oh, I know. It's
just so
delightful.
Good. Yeah. Barb says it's buffering. Is anybody else having any issues? On my end, it looks fine. Jane, good evening to you. Yep. Love the leather. Yeah, there you go. Silver lining. 100% correct. Great for those chicken days. Yep. Like with Mike and Jen say, I want one. Well, I don't know if Leather Homestead wants to put contact information in here or if he wants me to share contact information. But if anybody wants to get one, they're really cool. They're all leather. They're all handmade. And I like buying stuff like that for several reasons. One, it's superior quality. Right, you're going to have a hard time tearing that up. The other thing is we get to do business with people who are in our community and like-minded people, and it gets to go to good places. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's just an absolute wonderful thing, and I'm super thankful that Leather Homestead would take the time out of his busy life to make these for me. But he does this for a living, so I like supporting it. And if you guys want something really cool like that, I'm 100% sure he'd be happy to make them. Oh, there you go. Nowhere Homestead, he says, respect from one leather guy to another. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Nowhere does some leather work. He's built you that journal.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Drummondson Live, good evening to you, says she's a chicken killing machine.
Well, just whatever. Yeah. I mean, we do so much different processing that it's so...
Nowhere said, I'm making 7 of them right now. You got any pictures? Nowhere. Text me a picture of one you made. I'll be happy to put it up there.
Wow.
Yeah, Jen says, I like supporting our people. Yep, me too. Yep, Nito says, I love that bee. I have a Canon's one for my gardening. Let me see here. Nice apron. Yep, Leather Homestead. Look at that. Nowhere. Let's tag sometime. Nowhere. Let's tag sometime. Oh, talk. There you go. That makes a whole lot more sense. Yeah, Nowhere Homestead, Leather Homestead made be a journal and put a hedge tree on the front of it because on our farm, if you were to pull on our farm, there's a big dead hedge tree on it. And it's kind of been the symbol a little bit for our farm for a long, long time. But he made a really, really cool journal for it. It's unique. It's one of a kind. It's absolutely cool. But I think that you guys absolutely ought to support these people because at the end of the day, at least that money stays in the community one more turn, before it has to leave and, enter the system. Okay, I think I got one here. Let me see here. I'm going to put another one up here in just a second. Let me see here. KY Goatman says, I'd like to make one at Leather Homestead. Don't have any cow leather yet. No. Let's see. You got it. Okay. Well, let me see what I got here. The good news is I'm pretty high tech here on the computer, at least a little bit.
You're super fast.
Well, I just got an attachment. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to share it. So Nowhere Homestead sent me a picture of one that he's working on. So I'm going to share it just so you guys can see it. Window, where are we at here? That one. There you go. Isn't that amazing how I can do that? Are you impressed?
Yeah.
You impressed?
I am impressed. That's very good. Can you make it bigger?
I don't think so. I'm not that good. Anyway, pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's got that little side pocket right there. You see that?
Like a pen or a
It's pretty
pencil
cool.
or a tool.
Yeah. Okay. So where are we at here? Tag open signal. Okay. I have a canvas garden gathering apron. The bottom folds up and snaps to make a huge pocket. Oh,
I've seen that.
That's a good idea. Hey, both for you, Nor Homesteady and Leather Homestead, to make the bottom of that flap snap up to create a pocket that you could then stuff with produce or eggs. That's smart. Smart, smart, smart. Super, super good. Hey, Tambra, good evening to you. Just got the live, says Leather Homestead. I'm assuming you're talking about the notification. Yeah, it's funny. I'll get it like 30 minutes in that I'm live. It's so funny. Just absolutely so funny. Let me see. Midwest Ribeye says they thrifted a jean apron, but leather is way cooler. Well, and it smells so good.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to beat that smell. I don't know what it is. I wish I could work with leather like that because that's, that's some super, super cool stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna get rid of that. So back to the holidays. So, well, first of all, thank you everybody for that. Well, I guess let's finish that before we go on.
Yeah.
I got some other really interesting things for the holidays. That'd be so, we received many cards in the mail from you guys out there, and which is super appreciative. We have a wall down there in the living room that we kind of, set them up on. And I don't want to share anybody's names because I don't know that if they want to know or not. But we also received a handful of gift cards to continue the community efforts, the community building specifically. And so they'll all go in there. And I want everyone to know that anybody that donated in it, I will make a plaque and we're going to screw it to the wall inside the community building. And there's enough people now that have been involved that it's going to be covered in pieces of wood that say somebody's name on it, so that they're always part of that community. And so I'm super excited about going through that. We also received in the mail
our very first pie.
Well, chocolate pecan pie, which I never even heard of.
Yes.
And so
I love pecan pies.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Did you like the chocolate in the pecan?
Yes, I did.
Did you eat it all already?
No, not the whole thing, but I ate
a section,
a piece. It's just a piece. I ate a large piece.
Yeah.
Of it. Yes.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. That was.
Yeah. And we'd already talked about this on Grumpy's Live. So One Step Closer was who sent the pie. And so it's very thankful. Absolutely get used, and it was beautiful.
It'll get used.
Yeah, it will be gone.
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely been gone. Where are we at here? Let me see here. Half Bubble Off Plum says kind of reminds me of my dad's leather for welding. Actually, that would work great for welding. I burn myself all the time.
That would stop you from.
Yep. David Sonya's in the house. There's another good channel. Lover on Rampant says, I'm so flabbergasted my bees are bringing in pollen and nectar this week. Weird. Not complaining though. Zone 6.
Zone 6.
Yeah. Weather's kind of weird all over the place. I was listening to people talk, specifically Terminator last night was talking on Grumpy's, which by the way, I wonder where Terminator is, was talking on Grumpy's channel about how it's 40 degrees and there's no snow on the ground in Canada. But it seems like there's a lot of that kind of stuff, that goes by,
Kind of weird weather.
Yeah. Tamber says chocolate pecan pies usually have bourbon in them.
Oh.
Silver Lining loves chocolate pecan pies. Yeah. Skeins Girl, good evening to you.
Does it have bourbon in it?
Let me see here.
Oh, it's Texas pecan fudge pie.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah. Eagle Lover wants to know if I had, did you have it with chocolate milk as we discussed? I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, pretty cool.
It would also be good with vanilla ice cream.
Let me see if I can get that one pulled up too here. Hold on. I like this. If you guys have interesting tech pictures of things you've built, I just got one that popped in my box. And if I can get it up, I'm going to share it because I just think it's cool as can be. They're going to have to tell me what this all is. But okay, check this out, you guys. Share screen.
This is something you're building.
Yes, this is something that they're building. It's obviously a sink that drains
Processing.
down. Yep, and it's got screen, which is interesting, on the two sides of the sink.
I wonder if they're going to concrete it.
Or maybe it's just there so that they can hose stuff down and it falls through. But then why would you need the sink? Right? I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking out loud.
For soaking items.
Yeah, it looks like there's wheels on one end of it to move it around, but that's pretty cool. I like that. Oh man, I better get that one out of there. We're never going to get to the bottom. But I'd be interested to know, if you don't mind sharing on here, what's up with the screen. I'm curious. Okay, I'll stop sharing. But that's pretty cool. Yes, we absolutely enjoyed it. One Step Closer. It was super, super good. Jesus, good evening to you. They're double time and they'll catch up soon.
I know what that feels like.
What? Skanes Girl says, hey, everyone, was playing exploding kittens with the grandkids. I hope that's not literal. I don't even know what that is. Yeah. Kentucky's got snow, but Canada don't. How does that work? Dia Beast to Spy? Let me see here. Let me see. Tag, sent you a text of the outdoor sink hubby made me. Yeah, we just looked at it, and I'm curious I'm sure maybe you answered down here because I'm like way behind, but what's the screen for? And why does it let dirt fall through? Maybe that could be, right? Let me see where we at here. Hey, Miley Mason, good evening to you. Goodness. Okay, there we go. For harvesting chickens and produce, they say. So this picture came from Nidos that texted me. I didn't want to mention their name until they disclosed it because I never know what people want to talk about. But Homestead Twin says it's 44 degrees in Michigan. They're going to do some fence work. Yeah, we're going to go cut down some trees, I think. But tomorrow or the next day, we'll see how that works. But
I need to haul in wood if I need to.
Oh, there we go.
Resupply.
Yeah, the screen is so the dirt and stuff falls through. Yeah.
Okay, so you were
sense.
right.
Yep. Yep. All American Prepper down in Florida says plants are blooming down here that normally do not bloom. This time of year is so strange. I think it's strange for everyone, right?
I saw greenery coming up in the yard when I was on my way back from chores right now.
Instigator.
Diabetes.
Yeah. Apparently I'm slow, huh?
Diabetes.
Yep. So Twyla Varn says, I can't pronounce it. Sorry, I had to put it up. That was just funny to me. I don't know why. Anyway, so back to the holidays. So we had an amazing surprise Christmas morning that I was not expecting. Would you agree that it was an amazing surprise?
What are you talking about?
We had a big surprise Christmas morning. We didn't have a holiday here.
Santa? What are you talking about?
No, there was no Santa. I don't believe in Santa.
Christmas morning.
What was our big surprise? Ta-da! Oh,
I'm not following.
She's not. So we woke up Christmas morning. You can see here by the bottom of this with my entire solar system down.
That was I thought you were talking about like a happy surprise. This was not a happy surprise. This was
depend.
Crap. Now what?
I thought it was a good surprise for a whole bunch of reasons. But if you guys look at the picture, the one that's completely blank, that's what I woke up to. And don't pay attention to the time because the system shut down, which means I have to reset the time. So the time didn't matter, but it was December 25th. And as you look, I have no battery. I have no power whatsoever. And so that's how we woke up Christmas morning. So it's probably good that we didn't have a bunch of people over the house Christmas morning, right? Yeah. Because I wouldn't have been able to even turn lights on at that point.
Well, we didn't have anything on.
Yeah.
It was off.
But
and it was about you. It was everything. When you tried to reset the system, it was trying to reboot everything at one time. Yeah. So it was a big draw.
Well, and if you look at the next picture, the reason why I posted both of them, if you compare the first, the difference between the two is 44 minutes. And so in the first picture, I'm getting 0.3 amps. If you look at the top bar, it says battery 0.3 amps is all that's coming in because it was snowing and dark. All of those things. It was dark. But 44 minutes later, I was bringing in 7.5 amps and I had charged my battery up just a little bit because it typically will charge pretty quick. But what happened is we went through about 8 days of not really any sun. It was overcast and foggy, and it wasn't just light overcast because it'll charge pretty good in that situation.
It was dark.
But it was dark the whole time. And so we milked the system the best way we could. And Christmas Eve, we went to bed. Let me put this back up so I can show you guys something else. We went to bed and I was at 48.1 volts, which is a super bad sign for a 48 volt system because typically you'd want that to read 53 or 54 volts. And so if you look up at the top right-hand corner of either one of those pictures, you'll see the voltage rating, which was 41.0. And then the next one, 47 volts. But I knew we were going to have trouble, so we tried to shut everything down. But anyway, so the next morning we get up, and this is pretty much what I get. And so we have to go kind of into crisis mode.
Oh crap.
Yeah, just a little bit. And so me and B thought we would talk a little bit tonight about what that meant for us. Because the fact of the matter is, guys, we made it through it just fine. I mean, right?
I mean, it was better than camping outside in the rain.
Yeah, or in the cold.
We've been in worse situations than
or the cold.
The cold or the really bad heat.
Right. So we had the wood stove going, so that was fine for heat.
And cooking.
And for cooking, but
hot water.
Yeah, but I had to let my batteries catch up before I turned everything back on. So the first thing that we do in this situation, oh cool, I got another picture. I'll have to share you guys here in a second. So the very first thing we did is we shut everything down. Like everything.
Main power.
Cut the main power so nothing was charging, so I could hopefully get those batteries back up. And then as the batteries began to come back up, I began to turn on smaller pieces. As
they gained a charge.
Yeah,
they turned on as soon as we reset them. They turned on, but they're empty.
Right, they were empty. So I needed juice in there. So my system's designed to shut off at 44 volts, and at 44 volts it shuts down and
it turns off.
Yeah, because this saves the life of your batteries. But anyway, so we shut everything down, and then as it began to charge through the day a little bit, and it never got fully charged that day. I began to turn on the critical system. So like, I'm going to explain to you what I mean by critical system. So like water.
Water was the first thing.
The ability to flush a toilet, right? The ability to have a hot shower. You know, that was the water was the first thing we brought back on. The second thing we brought back on was the refrigerator. And so that.
Well, the lights were first.
Lights.
The lights, right?
No, we didn't put any lights on. What are you talking about?
Did you turn the lights on first?
No, that's why we ran around with the Milwaukee batteries the whole time.
Yeah, sorry.
Lights on.
Right. It was daylight. It was the morning. I'm sorry.
Oh, funny. So anyways, the second thing was the refrigerator. And that's all we left turned on all the day of Christmas. We didn't turn on any of the lights because I had the power shut off. You couldn't turn them on. We didn't get to turn anything else on the rest of the day. No internet, no computer, no nothing. So, there's this thing that I really want to get to you guys is I learned some big lessons through this, because once that happened, I still faced, 3 more days of no sun. So it's not like I was ever going to get a full charge until I could get a little more sun and get a little more through the clouds. And so we have to learn how to adapt around that system. And so the first adapting was shut everything down and get back to the very basics that you need to get through, which was water for us, keeping the refrigerator and the freezers on. We even unplugged one of the freezers, let the other one run for a little bit, turned it off, try to help keep it cold while we were going through the spell. But there's a whole bunch of stuff that I learned that I thought maybe you guys might find interesting in it. So the first lesson that I learned is when I built this house, there's some things now I would do different after going through this. And I'll give you some examples. So like in my living room, I have 12 can lights in my living room. 3 work on one switch, 6 work on one switch, and 3 work on one switch. And I did that so I could isolate the power. But now looking back, I wish I would have put 1 on one switch and then divided the rest up among the 2 switches, because then I could just run one 20-watt light.
Yeah.
It would take almost no power to run, and I would still be able to have light. I wouldn't have to turn on 3 of them.
Yeah.
The second lesson that I learned was I wish I would have taken my main breaker box, which is something I can still do, take my main breaker box and ran all the essentials to a side panel: water, refrigerator, freezers. Just the freezers, the essentials that I need, so that what I could do is say, okay, these are my essentials, and in trouble, I'm going to shut everything else down.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep just this going. I could have done that very, very easily. And again, I could still do it, which is something that I may, kind of run back through that. Bethany, is there anything else that you thought about as far as management goes? Because I'm going to show them the way we got through it, but anything
No, I mean, I don't know what else you're going to talk about. So,
okay. I'll show you guys.
The management, what we use to.
Yeah. So the first thing is that there's things like this that help get through. And we own both of these. That actually lantern is a picture on Christmas Day that morning on the island in the kitchen that we use just for some basic lights. And then I keep these kerosene heaters around, and I've got 3 of them, and they're just radiant heaters where you could heat up. We didn't end up needing to use them because we have the wood stove, but this would be a great thing for people to keep on hand. You don't really smell. It burns really clean, and you can, burn it in the house.
That's actually what he has in the pod right here.
I have it up here. I have one up here in this pod right here. Yep.
And you run it for what, like 10, 15 minutes and turn it off? This is a very small room.
Yeah, so. It wouldn't take anything to heat it up. This is a good thing too here. So Mike asks, can you use a gas generator to charge your battery bank just in case? I can do more than that. I have a 20,000 watt propane whole house generator tied to my solar system, tied to my batteries, and it has been a fiasco. So Generac first said they wouldn't warranty it because I live off grid, and they didn't want to touch it. So then I called.
Well, they wouldn't even assist in hooking it up.
Correct. So then I called a couple different electricians to help me figure it out. None of them wanted to touch it. I have a buddy.
Because it was off grid.
Yep, I have because it's off grid. I have a buddy in Kansas City who is a master electrician. He came over and helped, and we thought a month ago we had it all hooked up right. It was testing okay, but when we lost power, the generator didn't kick on. And so that morning I ran outside and I said, okay, I'll just manually
turn it on.
So I did. I went out there manually, hit the button. It started right up, no problems. Yep. I run back inside. It's not charging the battery. So I have something wrong in the system. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. But Mike and Jen, to answer your question, I do have a generator. I have a 1,000-gallon propane tank sitting next to the generator, all for this purpose. And yet when I needed it most, I couldn't get it.
Yep.
Which is,
we thought we had it hooked up right, and it is not.
Yeah. So Tambra wants to know, where can you get kerosene at? Oh, all over. I buy mine you can get it at Tractor Supply. You can buy them at Home Depot. You can buy them in a lot of places. But I'll give you guys a little hint. Home Depot and Tractor Supply both sell it in a metal can. And so what I do is when I want to buy it like that, I go buy it in the metal can. And then when that can is empty, I take it to my local farm store and they fill bulk kerosene. So I was saved up until I had 12 or 13 of those metal cans. And then I just took them all to the farm store and had them all filled up. And those 12 or 13 cans will last me 2 or 3 years.
And then you just use a little pump to fill.
Yeah, a little siphon pump.
To fill this kind of
to fill it.
Heater.
Yeah. And I bet you, I missed, guys, so many comments. I'm not even going to attempt to go back through it. LJC, good evening. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm not even, if I missed your guys' comment, I'm sorry. I'll try to say it again and I'll try to catch up. But there's a whole bunch that I missed.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's another thing I wanted to show you guys that really helps get through these kinds of situations. So you guys know I'm a big Milwaukee guy, right? And so the picture closest to me in B, that is a little inverter that just snaps onto a battery, and you can plug in a USB or a regular 110 outlet. I could charge me and B's phone 4 or 5 times on one Milwaukee battery. Also,
and they charge fast.
They charge fast, and I've got a whole bunch of them because of all my tools. So I brought this little inverter in so we could keep the phones charged up, and I'd go through about 1 battery a day, right? As we were going through it, keeping everything kind of charged up. But I wanted to try and experiment. This is the great thing, guys, about going through stuff like this is we get to do it now, right? Yeah. When it really doesn't matter. What I mean by doesn't matter is I can always go to Home Depot. I can always go to, but I get to learn what are the systems capable of. And so one of the experiments I did is I took this little inverter and the 1 Milwaukee battery, and I went up into my bedroom and I plugged in the television and the DVD player, and I put in a movie. And sat down and watched the entire movie. Yeah. Right.
I was able to power the TV and
the DVD player where I could watch an entire movie. And that was really cool. The other picture on the right is just a light. And that light with a full 6 amp hour Milwaukee battery in it on low power would last us all day long.
Yes.
And so I took this exact light and I set it on top of the refrigerator on low, which is still pretty bright. And it would light up the whole kitchen, and then Bee could go about her life doing her normal things and all of that. But having these kind of things really made it easier to get through, that type of situation. Yeah, it was. It absolutely was. Jules says, I wonder if I can get something similar for Ryobi. Well, what's interesting is Milwaukee and Ryobi stuff are made in the same factory, as I understand it.
So probably.
Yeah, so probably. Mike has worked on Generac systems for cells towers and the city. Well, if Mike's thinks he can find a way to figure this thing out, I have had all kinds of master electricians here. We just can't figure out how to make it work. I don't have any idea. But Instigator says, in a pinch, even one of the small 2,000 watt inverter generators can be a huge help while getting the big fix working, take some pressure off. Yeah, I've got 2 other generators, small ones. I think I got an 8,000 and a 3,000. Which we could have gone down that road.
The gasoline ones? Is that what you're talking about?
Gasoline ones. Yeah. We could have. But at the end of the day, I liked going through this. I know this sounds weird.
It's testing our systems.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Mike and Jen said, love us some red tools. Yeah, me too. And And it was just awesome to be able to play with that and learn, kind of what it would do. Tamber says that's pretty good to be able to watch a movie. That's what I thought too.
And I was going to say, just to be able to have the opportunity to try that, because you would not have gone up and tried to hook that TV up to the Milwaukee battery any other reason why.
No, but I thought, we're here. I can't go out and work. I can't run any of my tools.
You're not. What are you doing?
I wanted to see.
You're not going to do that.
I wanted to see.
If it's not going to work, it's not going to work, and then I'll know. Hey, it works. And I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
And then he assures that he's like, yeah, I watched the whole movie. I'm like,
yeah. You guys will laugh at me. The movie I watched was Willow. I know, I'm crazy.
There's only so many DVDs we have up in the room.
Yeah. Miley Mason says, Tag, you been at a business meeting? Laugh out loud. Well, kind of. And we're going to talk about this tonight too. I can't wait to hear your guys' take on, because to me, it's super, super fascinating. Let me see here. Instigator says, Jules, Ryobi has several options, from just a light with a USB port to charge a phone to inverters that hold 1 to 6 batteries. There you go. I ran my Starlink for hours on one 18-volt battery. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Let me see. Bauer at Harbor Freight has those. Let me see here. Thank you. I'll look for one of those later. I just got 2 6 amp hour batteries today. Yeah, guys, these were game changers for us. These were a big idea. And this is interesting. Me and B were talking about another thing to put on our checklist. She has a Homestead journal, but another thing to put on the checklist, when you've got a big bunch of storms coming and there's 4 or 5 days, make sure every battery you got is charged. Fill everything up. Because then again, it allows you to, to kind of get through.
Our 3-4 days turned into 8 of no real sun. Today was the first day of real sunlight that we had coming in.
Yeah.
So I was able to do like 4 loads of laundry, and that's another thing. So like having enough provisions so that you don't have to do laundry for 2 weeks if you can't. So, we go into that dark spell, meaning no light, with,
full drawers.
Or even just half full drawers. And then you have 8 to 10 days of no sun, or not the ability to do laundry, at least, the way I do laundry. Then you have to be prepared for that. Have enough underwear, have enough socks,
Farm Ranch Homestead says a small power station, also called a solar generator, would work well in those uses. Yeah, you got to tell you a funny guys story about that. And we don't advertise them on Grid Down, but I have all of those. Grid Down has all of those smaller generators now, and we just don't I don't have them on the website. Just, I don't know why, but we just don't. But anyway, I bought both of my boys one for Christmas, and then got B one to have one around the house that we could always keep plugged in. And but because it had just come in, I didn't have a charge. She didn't open it until we were starting going through. So I had one that was dead. What good is that? Right? Well, what good is that?
Having the ability, having them charged.
Yeah. Jules says, I have 2 solar generators, but having something like tags would be a great option for a backup to a backup. Well, and I think this is what's really, really important, is make sure that what you have is multiple systems for everything. And, we went to great lengths to do that for water, and great lengths to do that for power, and great lengths to do it for, all the things that we do. And I think it's just super critical that we, let me get rid of this. I think it's just super critical that we have backups to backups if what we're going to do is depend on ourselves for things. But for me, it was a great experience. Like I said, I learned some really cool lessons. Next person that's out here that's building a house in our area, I'm going to give so much good advice to, just purely based off these couple of days, because there's some little things that I could have done that would have made this process for me easier.
Yeah.
That I could have done. It wouldn't even been hard. It was just about how to make a decision. So I thought that was, that was pretty neat. But anyway, hey, Catholic Sword, good evening to you. Instigator says, I really won't buy anything smaller than a 6 amp hour battery for tools now. Smaller just isn't worth the constant charging for me. Just save up and wait for the sale. Yeah, usually what I do is just wait for the sale. I have a bunch of 5 amp hour batteries, because you go and you get them on Black Friday, for 2 of them for $150 or whatever.
I like the lighter weight ones, because the tool's already heavy.
Look at this one. Time for a clothesline in the greenhouse. She has 3 in the greenhouse. I bought her the retractable ones, and she has them, but and And here, the cool news is about where we live and the way we live, like our dryer's gas and that kind of stuff. We can run them on very little power, but it just wasn't.
But you have to have power.
But you have to have power. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see here. The so-called solar generators don't generate anything unless they're paired with a solar panel. Yeah. Yep. And we've got a whole one we're going to set out and experiment with here once things clear up. Yep. But I can tell you right now, we're full power. Life's grand. It's business as normal. And I got to tell you, my system I was pretty happy with. It really made it to about the beginning of day 6 before I really started to have problems. And we weren't getting any sun. I'm talking about dark, overcast skies, foggy.
It was not fully charging every day.
It wasn't. And usually my system will pick up a pretty good charge in overcast, but it's got to be getting some light through. We just had one of those weird, one of those weird times where it just wasn't going to do it.
And then we got snow, which the snow was thick pieces, which was constantly settling on the panels, and we were going out and having to clear the snow off.
Yeah.
In order for us to suck up any sunlight.
Yeah. My dryer's been broken for 3 years. I use my solar dryer clothesline even in the winter. If it rains, my clothes get a rainwater rinse. I love that. Yeah, she puts them out on the clothesline quite often in our greenhouse because, like I said, she's got 3 retractable lines in it.
Yeah, I prefer the towels out there. I know you don't like the crunchy towels.
No, they're so crunchy.
I like crunchy towels.
Yeah. Let me see here. Is building and would welcome the advice. Yeah, there's just a lot of those little things, Jen, that I'm going to tell you is that make sure you can isolate small power. Make sure what you can turn on. Like I said, if I could do it again, I would have had a whole nother breaker box right next to my first breaker box that would have been the bare essentials.
And that one person can do it because you're sitting there flipping breakers and I'm going, not that. No, no, no.
Yeah, label your breakers would have helped with that a whole lot.
Oh, that too. But if it was, something happens to you, I don't have to go to the main breaker and go, okay, this one's refrigerator right here. If it was isolated by itself, that was like, hey, if we get into a situation like that, this is what's important, not that.
Yeah. Well, here's another example. So in my living room, I have 2 ceiling fans right up in the ceiling. They're both on the same switch. So you turn the fans on, both start going. Now they're remote controlled, so I could turn one off. But if I could have done it again, I probably would have put each one on its own switch. Because then if I needed the fan, I could control the amount of power that I was using. Right away. Same with the lights. Instead of having 3 on a switch like I have, if I'd have put 1 on one switch, now it's not great light. But I can 20 watts, but that system will run a very, very, very long, time on just using something so small. Yeah, Miley Mason said, I would like to tell everyone blessed weekend and Happy New Year. Yeah, which, by the way, did you know that tomorrow is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3?
No.
It is. I don't think any of us have ever lived in a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right? 12, 31, 23. Anyway. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, there are so many levels of independent surviving. There is. And I think what an amazing opportunity we have every day to learn it. Just like, I told you, and I meant this, you guys, there's no facade in this. I'm thankful we got to go through it.
Yes.
I am, I think it's really neat to go, okay, now what? And be able to baby my system back in a process instead of just turning it all on.
Yeah.
And so today is the first day since the whole thing started that everything's back on.
Right.
All the power, all the lights.
I got to go in the big freezers and make sure my little trick with the penny is all okay. For those of you who don't know, if you take a bowl and a little dish of some kind and fill it with water and put a penny on top, you stick it inside the freezer, then it just stays there with a cube of ice with a penny on top. And if the freezer ever loses power to where the food inside defrosts, then the penny, the ice cube will defrost and the penny will sink to the bottom or somewhere in there. So if your penny is anywhere in the water, in the ice cube, then you know that your stuff inside the freezer has at some point in time defrosted enough to where that penny has sank. But if the penny is always on the top, then you know that at least that bowl has always remained the cube frozen. So I was able to go in and inspect the freezers to make sure that everything inside remained frozen so that it was still safe for consumption. I'd hate to have that problem.
Yeah. Amy says, I'm hoping to build a small solar system to charge 18-volt batteries. I love the idea of using my tools for free. Amy, here's the thing. Small solar systems are cheap. You know, like the solar system I put on the turkey coop, I don't remember what I paid for it. $300 or something. Right. It was, and it would do that all day long. You charge your batteries, no problem.
Would that run a refrigerator, that system?
It would maintain a refrigerator. The problem would be at the startup of the refrigerator when the refrigerator kicks on. It may not, and probably wouldn't. It would really depend on what kind of battery bank you had with it. That's where the money really is, right? One deep cycle battery can be $200 by itself.
Yeah, that's our problem, right? The batteries.
It's always
not enough.
Yeah, well, and what's crazy is I have $25,000 in batteries.
Yes,
and it is not enough. I mean, you know. But prices of batteries have come way down. I could get today. I could get double what I have now for what I paid
for the same price.
Yeah. I like this. Helen says I'm watching this live on my flat screen TV and my cell phone, so I can comment. Yeah, that's how you gotta love it.
Look at all that basil on your picture.
Farm Ranch Homestead. I apologize. She's right. That would be the day after tomorrow, which is 12/31/23. The day after tomorrow is 123/123. Yep, Half Bubble Off Plum says next project is to build a firewood shed, metal roof with solar panels. I actually want to get to one of those at some point too.
Yeah, we've talked about
that. Tags in tune buffering. Anybody else having problems? This is the second person that said it's buffering. Anybody else having problems? Oh my gosh, I'm so far behind.
You're just a buffer.
Hey, happy birthday, Skanes girl.
Hey, happy birthday.
Yeah. I'm going to skip down here a little bit, guys. If I missed a comment, just put it right back in there because the problem is I get so far behind and then I can't keep up. Yeah. Skanes Girl says, happy birthday, girl. Says it's been one I look back on and be able to laugh about. Let's see here. Yeah, everyone says no buffering. Okay, cool. Super cool. So anyway, that was a fun experiment as far as being without power and living through it and learning to deal with it in a way that I will get a little bit better next time. So next time, what I will do is when I notice my system's not keeping up, I'll start to shut things down sooner. So instead of going from full load to off, I will watch it and I will go from full load to 3/4 load to half load to quarter load so that I can milk that system for a longer period of time. Right. I mean, and so this was really the lesson that I learned in this is I could have done a better job managing it. I did not do a good job managing the system, and I could do a much better job, but we'll get better at it.
Well, we kind of also thought that once that the batteries died, that the generator would kick on and that we would be back into business because we didn't know. This was the first attempt at putting the generator to test.
Yeah, I think though this is a good lesson is that you can't put all your eggs. You can't assume everything's going to work all the time. I mean, you still gotta be mindful of it, you know. And I mean, what kind of idiots were we that we had the generator had just gotten hooked up a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. This is the first opportunity, and yet I didn't do anything to ease that had it not turned on. Like I didn't think that far in advance. Like, well, what if it doesn't? Right?
Because it was gonna.
Well, not how the world works,
and it
unfortunately.
Didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, Squatchy, what's up, buddy? I hope I haven't missed anybody through the course. But anyway, great experience, guys. I know we spent 43 minutes talking about being in the dark, but there's one other thing I want to mention.
We spent 6 days. I don't know.
Yeah. One other thing I want to mention that I think is really, really cool about all of this is it also provided much more time for me and B to just be with me and B. You know, and
it was a lot more quiet.
A lot more quiet, and you have a lot more conversations. There's less going on. You know, my emails aren't blasting, all the stuff that goes on through the crazy day. So it's kind of nice, I think.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit. I can't really complain, about that. But anyway, Love Runs Rampant said next project here is water catchment off the shed with an IBC tote, 375 gallons. I think shed is only 14 by 14. So I wonder how long it'll take up to fill it. It'll surprise you.
Yeah.
It happens fast. We just got another 3,000 gallon tank. Is it 3,000 or 2,000? I think it's 3,000. Anyway, whatever it is, we got another big tank we're going to add to our rain catchment
this year.
Well,
next year, 2024.
Yeah, to 2024. I've got 8,000 gallons now, but I think we're going to add another. Again, I think it's a 3,000 gallon tank, but we're going to add another 3,000 gallon tank. Oh, thank you, Gypsy. It's 2,500 gallon tank. I stand corrected, Your Highness. So King Gypsy has spoken and says it's 2,500 gallons, and he's the one that got it. Well, him and I were going to buy him anyway, but then he got a great deal on him anyway, blah, blah. But so I'm going to add 2,500 gallons to what I have already. And hopefully that'll get us a little bit free.
It'll be nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Because had this blackout happened when it was 20 degrees outside or 15 degrees outside, my ability for water was going to go way down, right? Because everything underground requires a pump. The only thing that works above ground is subject to freeze.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Which I was bringing water jugs in for like flushing the toilet or what else did I put that? I filled the dog's water bowl with it. And it was just rain catchment from outside. Bringing them in just because you just never know.
Yeah. Let me see here. Gypsy says, yeah, unless it's in a greenhouse. Well, there's a thought there is you could put a tank out in the greenhouse, but I'm telling you it's going to freeze anyway. Because when the sun goes down, that greenhouse gets just as cold as it is outside, unless you can find some way to heat it.
He said that his wasn't getting lower than 40.
Yeah, it's not cold yet.
That's true.
Wait till the wind chill factor is minus 30 outside.
That's true.
Ours didn't freeze either, even though it was outside. We had water just fine.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, it was warm enough to where it was melting and going into buckets and then freezing in the buckets.
Squatch wants to know if we're going to run a solar pump to circulate the stored water. Right now we don't. Some of it's underground, some of it's above ground, but we've had some talk about this, about how to do it in a way that allows us, not to have that water freeze, specifically in my case for the animals. Because if I could create automatic watering systems that couldn't freeze, I would love this.
Game changer.
Right?
For me.
Yeah, Mike says, did you pick up one of those Milwaukee transfer pumps? I have not yet, but you know what I did get, Mike? Bethany bought me for Christmas the battery powered air compressor. Woohoo! So excited.
Now you got to see if you can use it to texture those ceilings.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That's what will be my first project, is spraying texture to see if it can keep up. But I've been super impressed with Milwaukee so far. There's nothing that I bought.
Well, yeah, you bought that.
Yeah,
saw that we thought no way that was going to work.
Yeah, she's talking about the concrete saw. The big 10-inch, 12-inch wheel on the front. I bought a battery powered one, thinking I could do little things with it, but it keeps up with my gas powered one just fine. It cuts right through everything. But anyway, let me see here. Water is key, especially with the vid in the water. Per Monkeyworks. The vid. COVID in the water? Yeah, well, that's why we're not hooked up to anything but our own, rainwater. But in fairness, our rainwater tested positive for fluoride. So who knows, right? Jules says, Tag, what about insulated tote covers to keep the water freezing? The problem is it wouldn't keep the water from freezing. You could wrap that thing in insulation all you wanted to, and it's going to help a little bit, right? So it's going to delay the freeze.
You get
but I'm telling you, at the end of January, when it's minus 15 outside, it's going to freeze. So anyway, what else? So let's talk about. Well, you go ahead. I've been rambling. You go ahead. What do you got?
Well, we talked about Christmas, right? That's it, and then we talked about the power. Oh man!
Here, you want my pen?
Yeah, thanks. Just flip that right out of my hand. Yep. So not last week, we weren't here last week. The week before that, the dog was sprayed by
another skunk. Yeah, that's 2 this year.
So this week we had gotten another spray. So in the last 3 weeks, we've gotten 2 sprays. 2 dogs sprayed by skunks. So that is a smell like none other. And now we have 2 red-tailed hawks flying back and forth from the trees. So we're gaining in
predators.
Because
it's getting cold
around the homestead. I still have the same amount of birds, so I have not lost any birds to either predators. But I have now found the dogs are bringing home chunks of hide. I don't know if it's a deer or if it's a raccoon or if
they're going to the neighbors' properties where they butchered a deer and they're dragging those parts home, because they also had a leg the other day. And what I'm betting you is the guy beside us, he's got 80 acres. He's a big deer hunter. He killed one, butchered one out in the pasture.
And they're bringing the parts home.
They're bringing the parts home.
That is so gross. I picked up this carcass and I was taking it over to the trash and I put it in there. just as the neighbors were driving up and they're like, what do you have? I'm like, it's a part of an animal of some kind. And then I thought, that dog got that out of the trash and is down there chewing on it again. And my thought was, if they eat this, like if they're chewing on a bone, it's probably not that big of a deal. But if they like swallow a hide, it would be like swallowing a blanket, right? Yeah. That's going to get all like bound up. So I had to go out there, and I thought it was the same hide, and it was actually a different, very large piece of a fur. So I had to first catch the dog because now that it has this thing, it doesn't want to give it up. So I had to catch the dog and get it away from it and put that into the trash as well. So when we go to the dump, we're going to have like carcasses.
Yeah. Those dogs
parts of carcasses.
Are nocturnal, and they are a great watchdog. We hear them all night long.
They bring all kinds of stuff home.
They're out chasing stuff and killing stuff all night long. I hear them all night, but what a blessing they are to have around the farm. You're not sneaking up anywhere close to my property.
No.
They are so alert. And it's funny, I always catch them. I don't know if this is just their nature. Maybe you guys who have guardian dogs can tell me this, but they always climb on top of the hills. So like I've got hills, I got piles of mulch, and I've got piles of rock, and I've got piles, and they're always on top of those hills,
compost
just
piles.
Watching everything, which I find so fascinating.
I thought it was to see farther out.
Yeah, I would assume that too. Tag, I think about getting parts for all the things that we need sometimes. Ships ahoy. Yeah, I think getting spare parts is a wonderful idea. I've got a bunch of, and believe it or not, Milwaukee drills and stuff that I've burned up, grinder. That we burned up. I save them because I can take the triggers off of them, and I can take, the pieces and parts off of them to fix things, assuming that I couldn't get something.
If they're trash, just throw them away.
Nah, I don't want the parts off of them.
Like you're going to disassemble a drill and put one back
together.
Like
I had a trigger go out of a drill.
The red drill?
Yeah, that was actually a rigid, but had I had an old spare, I could have just pulled the trigger out. Put it in. LeBron's Rampant says, wow, that works. Milwaukee rocks then, because that big saw is no joke. We had to punch a hole through a basement foundation after the addition. Yeah, it's it probably don't have the torque that the gas-powered one does, but it cuts through them just fine. Just absolutely fine. Yeah, one more rock says time to go skunk hunting. Yeah, well, it's gotten us twice.
I don't know if it's the same one.
Who knows? The problem is we got a lot of woods, and then around us is surrounded with woods.
But man, that smell is just horrible. And you could smell that from quite a ways away.
Yeah.
And then the dogs come into the back deck, and then they lay on the bed in there and roll their faces on it. So that smell is like permanent right there for.
Yeah, until you just take their bedding out and hose them off, Nowhere Homestead says still at 43 birds. Yeah. We lost a few this year, but not many. My dogs eat their blankets on a regular.
Oh no.
Tammy, that's not good.
You have to take them in for surgery, right? It's not going to dissolve.
We have a couple large barn owls and some red-tailed hawks hanging out in the palm trees. Love listening to the owls at night as they hunt in the pasture.
What do you do? Do you try to deter them from your yard, the bird yard? I'm trying not to do much prevent or intervention. How do we just keep them from little black birds, moving parts?
Yeah, I think that
big animals, dogs,
the things that I'm being very specific on how I say this. The things that we can hunt and kill that are hurting our predators, we will do so. And the dogs will take care of some of it, and all the other things. So, Gypsy says they take the higher ground like a Jedi. Yeah. Toby says, yeah, we have a mama LGD, and that's what they do. They just sit on top of the. It's funny. I've got a big pile of mulch, wood mulch up at the top of the hill, and it's like, I don't know, 15 dump truck loads. It's a big old hill, and I always catch them up on there. And I started thinking, when it's cold, that thing's very warm. If you pick up a scoop load of it, it's hot underneath.
You think that's?
I wonder if that heat's rising up through that mulch, and they're just sitting there being all toasty all night long, laying on top of that. I don't know. Just a theory.
Those dogs lay out there, and they have icicles on their fur, and they are still out there.
Yeah. Homestead Twin says my Pyrenees sits on top of her doghouse. Yeah, no doubt. If you've ever been to Cuba, they recycle everything, then throw nothing away. And I think we should be doing more of that. Let me see here. They're talking to Jules. CB, if you mess the tool up, tell Tag it's still good. Laugh out loud. Miley.
Still good. Put it in the closet.
Pete says birds are locked up early in the barn. Cats help. Yeah, we don't have any problem once we lock them up. And we don't have much problem with them if they just stay around the coop. The problem is we got wanderers. And they go wandering all over, and then them wanderers don't come home. Mm-hmm. You know, that's typically how it works. Yeah, this is actually, we know this, but for anybody that doesn't, hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, and Dawn dish soap is the best against the skunk smell. Mm-hmm. That is the absolute right recipe. For anybody that doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have had to do that in an emergency mm-hmm. situation.
Yeah.
Those were the indoor dogs that we had.
Yeah.
They got sprayed by the skunk.
Yeah.
And before we could let them in, we had to manage it.
Yeah.
But the outside dogs, we don't.
You try not to manage it much, but it's still, you can't. If they're going to, because they want you to pet and love on them. So,
and in the middle of the wintertime, it's hard to get them all wet, to like soak them down because they're going to get, we can't keep them inside. So they're going to get wet and then frozen.
Leatherholm says after that, use peppermint soap. What does that do? Because the peroxide, the Dawn, and the baking soda works really good to remove the smell.
Neutralizes the smell.
I wonder if peppermint's just perfume. I don't know. It'd be interesting. Leather, let me know what that is.
Probably maybe to keep it from nausea. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but we said peppermint soap, so you're not eating that.
No, the smell of peppermint. You don't eat. I mean, eating it, yes, but the smell of peppermint will help you to ward off nausea.
All right. So what else you got?
I have been working on taxes. What?
Nothing.
What was that? I've been working on taxes.
How's that going?
That's fun. Something that always has to happen. They're pretty insistent upon that.
I get irritated at tax season. It is so unfair what they do to us. And it's we talk all the time about going to live in a life that's free and getting to that life of freedom and achieving that rank of getting higher and higher and higher. But I always say 100% freedom is not possible. And I would tell you today it's not possible because of things like property taxes. You don't actually own anything because don't pay your taxes and see what happens to you. Right? I hate taxes. That's so egregious, and it's just so completely not fair in so many ways. But hey, Terminator said she's been hiding in the comments. Sorry, Terminator. They go by pretty fast. We were just talking about you though about the weather up in Canada and how weird that is. Yeah, I get just. Oh, there you go. Nowhere says irritated. I get effing irritated. Oh yeah, it is so egregious. It's just incredible. And talk about taxes. I don't know if you guys would be proud of me or not proud of me, but the reason why I'm in a dress clothes today is because last time I was at the commissioner's office complaining about taxes, they said to me, with Tag, what you should really do is you should get involved earlier, get involved in one of these committees and that. And I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I put an application in to be part of the planning and zoning committee. Because I figured, it's not sitting on the commission, but at least maybe what I could do is help keep costs down that way. That I at least go explore it, right? Not necessarily I do it, but that I would at least go explore it. Okay. So today at 1:30, I had an interview. I had an interview with the county to serve on this committee. And they asked me lots of questions like, do you have any, preconceived notions or personal agendas that you're trying to get accomplished here? And, all this, crazy kind of stuff. But one of the questions they asked me that I found was just super fascinating was, how do you feel about property rights? And I told them that I think property rights are permanent. There shouldn't be something that you can regulate away, and that furthermore, taxation is theft. and that property taxes are egregious. And I let them have it, my opinion. And it was, there's more to this story to come. I can't speak of it on tonight's live, maybe on next week's live, but
did they escort you out?
No. You know what? We parted as friends, I think. But
I think. Oh no.
Yeah, but we had a really good conversation, I thought. And, I gave him an economics lesson about, growth through, if you're trying to grow a county, you're trying to grow its revenue base. You don't do it through taxation, because all that does is it defeats your purpose, because you might get a lot of taxes today, but as you continue to increase them, what happens is people move away.
Yeah.
Right. And then so now you got to raise taxes again to get the same amount of money. You're way better off doing it the other way, through economic development. How do you get people to want to come live here? How do you get businesses want to come do it? That way, what you can do is you can continue to lower taxes, but continue to increase the stream of revenue.
That'd be great.
This is not complicated.
That'd be great.
I'm telling you, this is not complicated. But I made sure that they knew exactly how I felt in this reference, and that they're going at it wrong. It's not a taxation issue. It's that what we need to do is make sure that this becomes a place people want to live. And if you do that, the problem fixes itself. And I could fix it quick. If they put me in charge, I could fix it quick, but nobody would like me. But
yeah.
Yeah. What's this? Can Squatch says agree to disagree. I'm not sure what we're agreeing to disagree on, but right on. Oh yeah, because we parted as friends. We parted as friends with my free time intact. Yeah. But here's the thing, guys. If I cannot ask my community to get involved and get in the fight, if I ain't willing to do the same thing, right? That isn't fair. And, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but I've got to do my part too. And so if I can find a way I can serve my community by serving the county, meaning in an effort to lower appraised values, right? In an effort to do those kind of things, I'll absolutely do it. I'll 100% do it. But there's more to the story. I'm going to fill you guys in again on a later live, but I'll tell you something very interesting. So I get home and I'm actually getting ready for this live, and I'm sitting up here and I'm doing all my stuff. And one of the commissioners, who I used to manage his money, by the way, so I have a relationship with him, calls me on the phone to inform me they have not selected me for this committee. But he asked me if I'd be willing to serve in another way. I'm going to leave it at that for now until, because he asked me to keep it quiet until he could get approval. But it might be a way I can help out even more. And I think they don't understand what they're getting themselves into, but that's okay. It was a cordial conversation. It was perfectly fine. They know how I stand. But there's another really important thing that I gained out of this, which was the last time I was at the commissioners meeting and I was bitching at them about taxes. They said, you want it to change, get involved.
Yeah.
So now when I go to the next one and they say, you want changes, get involved, I'm going to say, I tried. You don't want me involved.
Well, there's only so many positions that can be filled.
Doesn't matter. You told me to get involved. I came to get involved. You said if we wanted to make a change to get involved, I got involved. And then I tried to get involved. And you tell me you don't want me involved. So I'll just stick it right back down their throats. I'll take that argument from them, which how I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So anyway, I did not get selected for the committee. And there was another person inside our community that applied for it also. And they also did not get selected.
Oh, you know that as well.
I do.
How many people were there that were up for the job?
So the committee, there was 2 openings on it, and they had like 7 candidates. But the commissioner told me when he called me, he said, we did not select you because we don't think you'd be good at it. We just think with your skill set, because I have a very interesting skill set, that we think you could serve in a whole nother way. Because I think what they took to heart was my statement of, if you want to grow this county and you want it to prosper, you do it through growth, not taxation.
Yeah.
You can't do it through taxation. The fact of the matter is taxation, what will happen is it'll go exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
You'll destroy the county because.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. You owe more money.
Right. And so that has to do with this. But again, I can't talk about it because I promised I wouldn't. I don't want it to get out until he returns the phone call, which he said would be next week. And I'll fill us in a little bit more.
Well, thank you.
At that point in time. But let me see here. Hippocrates says, if at first you don't succeed, try doing it the way I told you. Yeah. Yeah. David says, no, they'll love you eventually. Yeah. See, I made enough that they raised my Social Security. What's up with that? Well, yeah, that's an interesting topic. Did you know? I don't know if you noticed, babe. They I think the Social Security went up 3.4%. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Across the board?
Yeah, across the board. everybody in Social Security got a 3.4% raise. I think it was 3.4. It might have been 3.2 or 3.5, but it's right there. But government employees got a 5.5% increase.
Wow.
So what do you think about that? You don't have any thoughts about that?
No.
What I think is interesting about it is if you use the government's numbers on inflation, what that really means is that both took a pay cut, but one was worse than the other. So all the government employees got a pay cut and the people on Social Security got a pay cut. Yeah. Cliffhanger. Mike's making popcorn or popping popcorn. Yeah. Yeah. Not today, not today, not today. Thank you guys for all the support. Go Tag Go. Your foot is in the
door.
In the door, maybe? I don't see. Here's the thing, though. We have somebody in our community who I respect a ton from this perspective, from the legal side. And I called him to talk to him about the other thing they talked to me about. And I said, the problem is I don't want to get in a position to where what I'm doing is feeding the beast. I want to starve the beast. Right?
Yes.
So I want to make sure that whatever I do is progressing that and it's not feeding it.
Yes.
And so, yeah. So we'll see, what happens. But Can Squatch says start voting out the commissioners. This is an interesting point, Can Squatch. The thing is, we've got some decent commissioners. They're not horrible. And the problem is voting them out for who? Right? I mean, because at the end of the day, you got to worry about that too.
Another one.
When right now we've got commissioners who are willing to listen, willing to talk, willing to have discussion. One of the things that I've brought up to our commissioners on numerous occasions is that I think it's absolutely appalling that somebody can pay their house off or their farm off and then later on in life go on Social Security, a system that was designed by the government, by the way, right? So they go on, paid in their whole life for Social Security. Then they go on Social Security and they can no longer afford property tax, therefore losing their home or their farm that's been in their family potentially for 100 years. Paid for, and yet they lose it because they can't keep up with property taxes. And I demanded at one of the meetings not long ago that they eliminate all property tax for anybody over the age of 65, because I think that's an absolute, tragedy that happens. And they were open to the conversation and gave me a list of 5 things that if these things happened, that they would be supportive of such things. And I'm going to hold them to it. I mean, I think this is a big deal. I even gone so far as to tell them that you can double my personal property tax. Well, and I would say this for anybody that's in, their wage earning years, double it, but make it so when I'm done, when I retire, right, when it's time to make that change over, that I don't lose my farm because of the greed of politicians. Now they're not going to, I doubt they'll ever listen to me, but oh my goodness. I don't know what happened. Jewel, sorry guys, I'm going to skip a whole bunch of comments here. Between SSDI and SSI, I got an extra $29. Look at that. What are you going to do with that, right?
Pay.
You could buy a whole extra gallon of milk. Yeah, look at what the new president of Argentina is doing. He just fired another 5,000 bureaucrats. That is a great start. Let's fire 5,000 more tomorrow. You see, my husband hasn't had a raise in 7 years and he's a nurse. His boss told him he'd make more at a different hospital. That's a good way to make you feel loved, huh?
It's a good way to keep your staff.
Yep. Time to dive into the county budget and see what they're spending it on. Oh, we have. And they actually have a budget planning committee that goes on in our county. And I have 2 of our community members who have requested to be part of that budget planning committee one step closer. So I'm hoping we can pull that off and really get into the depth, into how those things happen. But see, here's the thing, guys. And I would like to challenge all of you to this. I asked Grumpy on his live yesterday. I asked him this question. I said, what are you proud of in 2023 away from Grumpy Acres? What work have you done that you're proud of? And they've done work, and in reference to building community and all of those kind of things. But I would ask you guys the same thing. What are you proud of in 2023? What work did you accomplish to spread freedom outside of your own existence? What did you do? And again, I don't need an answer. You don't have to answer to me, of course. You answer to yourself, but look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself what you did. And if you can't come up with an answer what you did, you're not in the fight. Just the way it is. Because if someone asks me that question, what did I do in 2023 to further freedom? I can write you a book, and I think we all need to be doing this all the time. What are you actively doing outside your own existence? Guys, at the end of the day, they want us divided. And they're going to continue to divide us. They want you home behind the scenes, afraid of being put on some kind of list. They want this. It's safe for them. We've got to get out there and get in the fight. And whether that's getting involved in the planning committees, whether it's just building community, whether it's whatever it is, make sure that you're doing something every single day that's outside your own existence that doesn't benefit you directly. What are you doing to further the movement? Because the fact of the matter is the reason we're in the spot that we're in right here today is our fault. The government didn't create it. We were asleep at the wheel, period. It's on us. Are we going to continue to be asleep at the wheel, or are we going to go out there and do something about it? And I'll quit ranting, but seriously, what did you do outside of your own existence to further the agenda of freedom in 2023? I want everybody to ask yourselves that question. And I missed a whole bunch. Okay, let me see here. I've been saying that for 50 years, land should be sovereign. Seniors should not lose that over property tax. I could not agree more. It's egregious. And there is, it's so funny. We were talking about the commissioners. I promise you guys this. Give me no property taxes after 65 and watch this county grow. Watch what happens. Now, you can even put requirements on it. You have to live in the home at least 10 years. Fine. Whatever it is. So it prevents people from just buying in to not pay property tax. But watch the county grow. Because what will happen is not only will the people come, but then the services and the businesses will come to support those people. You'll need more restaurants. You'll need more shopping.
Would
right?
Would you be increasing the population of the elderly?
Yeah, absolutely would be increasing the population of the elderly.
If you have to live there for 10 years, then you'd be increasing the population of the elderly, but also
middle age.
With the right.
Yeah, about 50, what's interesting about the age of 50? Most people peak at their peak earning potential right about 48 to 54 is when you're making the greatest amount of money you'll make ever in the time of your life. So if you have to live in the house 10 years, you're bringing that in. You're bringing the highest wages in. You're bringing their families in. You're bringing all of those things in.
Yeah.
And then the businesses come in to support behind it because you need more restaurants, more car, places to repair cars and a lot with laundromats or whatever it is. You're bringing all this business in. And most importantly, that poor lady or that poor man who paid off their house 30 years ago isn't losing the family farm because they can't afford property taxes, which is completely egregious. Completely. Well, let it happen. We sat by and watched. Yes, we did. It is our fault. We are responsible for the situation that we're in. You guys have heard me say many, many times, everything that happens to you in your life is your fault. If you make a good decision, it's your fault. If you make a bad decision, it's your fault. And frank to the matter is it is our fault. Planting seeds, farms. Yep. I like this one too. David says, did you just light a fire under my ass? I don't know. I hope so. I'm going to ask everybody right here at the end of the year and into next year, what did you do in 2023 outside of your own needs and outside of your own little bubble to further the purpose of freedom? What did you do? Eagle Lover said, but there's no land available in the county to buy. There's tons of land available for the county to buy. I don't even do videos on all of them anymore. And that's for a whole nother reason, but there's a whole bunch of them for sale right now. Now there might not be exactly what you're looking for. I don't know, but Nito said one of the reasons we live in Nevada, the lower taxes. Yeah, it's interesting. Kansas rates right smack in the middle of the, I think it's 20. Somebody told me that today, 25th or 26th.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember. Right in the middle. But the thing is, guys, you can say that we have less property tax or less income tax or more this or more that. The one you really want to watch for is property tax, because I'd rather have way more income tax and way less property tax, because having property tax is the one thing that stops us from being free. Let me see here. A person couldn't even have an account to potentially pay their property tax because the taxes always increase. We've got to get rid of it. I think it's the biggest hurdle. Remember earlier I was telling you there's a guy I hang out with that I really respect a lot from that side. I'm always asking him these kind of questions. Him and I had this big debate tonight about how do we pull it off? How in the world can we get to a place where we can do that, because I think with that, now you can take what I believe is maybe you can get to 90% free. Now you might get to 95 or 99% free, right? Because if you would actually own property. Let's see here. I do have life done free. I do have an axe to grind. Okay. I never had any kids. I have paid school taxes with property taxes for 40 years. I'm worn plumb smooth. I think this is a fair statement. I mean, I think we as a community have a responsibility to everybody else's kids too, in some degree. I'll speak inside our little community, that we have here. I'm perfectly fine using my resources to ensure they have a good life, and that, those things, are met. But at the same time, I also don't think that it's fair, probably, that I pay the same amount as everybody else. But I mean, again, I think you could get me to sign on to pay any taxes you want through my earning potential, right? Through my life where I'm earning good income. But there comes a time where you retire, you go on disability, whatever it is, that has to stop. You've paid your way through it. I've maxed out Social Security.
Then you just live in the house for the rest of your life?
You just don't pay property tax. You're still paying tax when you go to the grocery store. You're still paying tax on whatever income you get, if you have any. You're still paying taxes on all of those things. You're not paying property tax
on that house.
I know a lady right now, guys, who paid this. She's been in her home 60 years probably. So she has paid off her house, but in the last 20 years has paid off her house 2 more times in taxes. So she's paid for her house now 3 times. And as soon as she misses that payment, she's on a fixed income. And she's worried about what she's going to do about it. As soon as she misses it, the state will take it, and that's that.
Well, you're talking about the houses her husband grew up in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was her husband's childhood house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All of her kids grew up there. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amy B says living trust property tax. That's not going to stop the property tax issue. All that changes is who owns it, right? Let me see here. I don't mean to vent, you guys. Just, man, it drives me crazy. Put my life on hold for 2.5 years in county to care for my parents. The past decades, I've been a mayor for free, firefighter, EMT, law enforcement, nurse, search and rescue, started a community band for the kids. Yeah, good for you. See, this just like this, I think things like this are important too, is that when life changes, right? I think you should be able to come into the courthouse or whatever and say, look, I'm dealt with the situation. I've got to take care of my parents now. And this should all be accounted in the grand scheme of things. Now, for the record, you guys, I think all property tax is unconstitutional, but we're not going to win that fight. And I'm not going to spend any time, fighting that fight.
Folks, but you think you have an actual chance of stopping
property tax after 65?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Other states are already doing it. Their state, the precedence has already been set. What we need is some commissioners with some kahunas to stand up and say, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to put these economic structures in place so that the county still gets the money they need. But we're going to encourage people at the peak earning part of their life to move right here. That's how I do it. All right, here we go. Many states are passing laws to accept gold and silver to pay taxes. They are. Actually, I think it's interesting that Costco and Walmart are selling gold now, too.
I didn't know that.
Midwest says, my brother came over, got to go. Happy New Year to you. Yep. Let me see here. Started talking to each other. Hilltop, good evening. Says, sometimes you don't know what you've done. I feel my channel is small and low in scope, but time goes by and my viewers bring up things I said. I guess just planting seeds is my job. See, I think this is a great answer, Hilltop. I'm proud that you can answer the question. And I don't mean this mean, but most people that I know, if I ask them what did they do to push the agenda of freedom outside their own existence in 2023, would look at me like a deer in headlights. Not everybody. I got some great warriors around me, but most people would say that. Molly says, Tag is getting fired back up, going to establishment something. Yeah. It's just so egregious,
Establish something.
I just can't get over the fact that this is just such a crock. I can't believe that. How do you leave a legacy to anybody? I mean, there are people out there who have worked their whole lives to build a farm. And then their kids worked all their lives to build a farm. And then their kids worked all lives. And their kids, and you're 5th generations in. And because of weak-minded and spineless bureaucrats, they're going to lose their farm at retirement age. Generations have been spent. Sovereignty begins in the home. And we were built on our country was built on the principles that personal sovereignty came first. The government was there to serve us, not the other way around. Anyway.
Yes. Yes, it's kind of been twisted here and there.
Yeah, you think?
A little bit.
Texas locks property taxes after 65. Disabled vets get a huge discount on top of that. See, I think that's a start, but I think it's got to be eliminated. I don't think it's fair that you buy something and pay tax on it, and then the next year pay tax on it, and the next year pay tax on it, the next year pay tax on it, the next year pay tax on it, and you end up paying more taxes than you ever paid for the thing.
For buying it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested. Anybody who bought a new truck this year or however many years ago, I'd be interested in all the property taxes you paid in a 10-year span. Could you have bought the truck again? Probably not, but it'd be up there. In Texas, Homestead and over 65, no taxes or low. Mine was 84 cents. Yeah, I'd love that. The only problem, being a lover, is I could not live in Texas. No offense to Texas people. You are too close to too much trouble, in my opinion. Jules says they don't want you leaving a legacy. Yeah, that's exactly the point, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because if you have farms that are in families for generations, then how would they move them along and change the value and change the this and change the plots and move,
If you build a new house, if the land's been in your family for 100 years,
yeah,
and you go build a new house, I understand them taxing you on building that new house. Once. I pay tax on the lumber, I pay tax on the labor, I pay tax to get the house built. But once you paid for it, it is no longer, in my opinion,
every year a taxable.
It's not a continuous taxable event. The fact of the matter is, as long as they continue to tax base us, this is how they shield themselves from inflation. You don't get shielded from inflation. They get shielded from inflation because they don't have to be accountable for their poor decisions. You have to be accountable for their poor decisions. And you should be, because you know what? You're the one that created it anyway. Me too.
Sing it, sister.
Yeah, Tom. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I didn't mean to go down that whole rant all about why am I wearing a dress clothes. See, this is the danger. You guys ask questions like that.
Shirt?
This is the danger right there.
You should have put a hoodie on.
Right. I should have come home, taken a shower, put a hoodie on. Nobody would have asked me, and I wouldn't have gone on this long rant about property taxes.
What was that look for?
I just
somebody's driving past.
I'm up on the 3rd level, and so I can see my whole property. And the road, which is about 1,700 feet that way, I could see a car drive by. That's what I was looking at. Anyway, I'm sorry for ranting. I'm really not sorry for ranting, but I think I got another picture in here somewhere.
Somebody else's picture?
I think so. That's pretty cool. So you guys want to see another cool picture that one of you sent me?
Somebody cut that down?
Yeah. So life with Mike and Jen. Mike cut that tree down today. That is a big old tree.
That's a big tree.
Look at that as compared to the size of that man right there.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
That's a big one. Think all the firewood and the milled lumber and all that stuff. Man, that's beautiful. I almost forgot to even share that because it got me all ranting on stuff.
There you go again.
Yep. You should be able to opt out of city and/or county services to reduce or eliminate property taxes. We wouldn't be entitled to the service, but wouldn't pay for them either. Well, that's hard to do with things like roads, right? And then the problem is you get people who aren't, and I don't mean this mean, aren't wise, and they say, I want to opt out of emergency services. And now their house catches on fire and nobody comes, and then they sue the county. Hippocrates says Tag needs some chamomile tea. Is that supposed to calm somebody down?
Yeah.
I got chocolate milk. Look at that. I got chocolate milk. So you can take your chamomile tea.
Yeah, well,
donate it to someone.
The caffeine and the chocolate's getting me too hyped up.
Oh my goodness. Would like to buy more land. Every time you do, you pay more tax than the seller did. Go figure. Tag, this is a problem. It is a problem. And we have to stand up. This is why I asked you guys, what did you do outside of your own existence to pass freedom? How many county commissioner meetings did you attend? How many board of director meetings did you attend? Did you throw any fight? You know, and you don't have to answer to me. You answer to yourself, you know. Proud of you, citizen. Oh, I get myself so
citizen.
Yeah. They double dip and keep it going. Yes, they do. And then if you sell your house, they want 40% capital gains tax. Yep. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
You'll be happy.
That's right. They don't want home ownership. You know, I think it was, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but Karl Marx said, I'm trying to quote this exactly right. This is digging way deep into my memory bank, but something to the effect of the best thing you can do to install communism is to remove personal property. And so that attack has been going on, you know, for a long, long time. The fact of the matter is, guys, World War III, it's begun a long time ago. Except the problem is we've been conditioned because of the programming on the news and because of all of this to see tanks. And yeah, there's some of that going on overseas and all that. But the fact of the matter is World War III is being fought economically, through surveillance, through censorship, right? Through programming our kids in schools, through programming through our churches. How many churches stood up and said, take the vaccine? Many, right? I mean, World War III has been going on a long, long time. And we just sit back on our freaking iPhones, right? And we just sit back and say, oh, it doesn't affect me or whatever the case may be.
It's not here. I don't see it.
You're smack dab in the middle of World War III. The good news is most of you already know this. The problem is 99% of the population doesn't. And it just keeps going and it just keeps going and they keep gaining ground and they keep gaining ground and they keep gaining ground because we won't get off our asses and do something about it.
Great men do nothing.
Yep. What crazy is you own land, buy materials to build, and pay taxes for the material, and property gets reassessed. Right. I just got done watching The Great Awakening, trying to dry my tears now and be sure to enjoy the choices grumping I made 2.5 years ago. Yeah, actually, I'll share this with you guys. So I was going through my life and I ran across this video. It's actually a small channel. It's got about 5,000 subscribers on it. But man, they did a hell of a documentary on what's going on right now. I shared it today inside the community, and I'm going to share it with you guys here real quick, if you guys don't mind, because everybody should watch it. 100% of people should absolutely watch it. Okay, let me see here. I'm getting it. Sorry, guys.
Where'd they get that then? The Great Awakening. Where'd they get that video?
Right here.
They didn't make it.
This channel. Yeah, they made it. This comes from them, I think. Let me see this film.
No, The Great Awakening is a movie.
No, this is a documentary they made in 2023, babe. But anyway, let me share screen. I want to show you guys this. Sorry, it just took me just a second. Okay, share. Okay, this one right here. So if you guys see the name of the channel, I don't even know how you'd even pronounce that. It's Psycho. I don't know how you would say it. But anyway, they did a video this in 2023 called The Great Awakening, the full documentary. You guys, everybody needs to go watch this. Here, in fact, I'm going to do something even better for you guys. Watch this. Okay. Here we go. There you go. I'm going to put the link up here. There you go, Yoda. So there's the link right there, but absolutely go watch it. Because it's really, what I really love about what they do is, and you guys know I don't do this much to say, hey, go watch this video, but they do a great job of putting the big picture together. Mm-hmm. And, you know, owning nothing and being happy and ESG and the Great Reset and why it's here and how they attack schools and how they attack each race differently. And they really go into depth between it. And I'm going to tell you something. This was a absolute fabulous documentary that everybody should go watch. But don't just turn it on and listen and walk around the house. Sit down and watch it. Because there's a lot to it. And this is what Yoda was referring to.
Yeah, it's like an hour. And
yeah, it's a little bit. This is when Yoda said, just got done watching The Great Awakening, try to dry my tears now and be sure to enjoy the choices grumping I made 2.5 years ago. Because what she's referring to is getting out of debt, taking control of your own life, doing for yourself, and why this is going to matter so much. This, guys, if you guys go watch this, this is what's coming. This is the biggest threat to us. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's not all them, because all of them are a side effect of the exact same thing. All of this is tied together. COVID is tied to it. It's all tied to it. Did anybody think it's just a coincidence that the last time we all got locked down is when Biden was elected as the most popular president in the history of the world? Is that just a coincidence that all happened? You guys know what 2024 is? It's election year, right? Here come the shenanigans. I'm just ranting today.
Yeah.
Look, that's been watched 479,000 views.
With 6,000 subscribers.
That's what I'm saying.
That's got 500,000 views.
If you click on any of those, that's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. But just go watch it. It is just absolutely amazing. Put your home and property in a trust so they can't nail your heirs for the bug death tax. Yeah. So this is a good idea. By putting in a trust, you can get rid of the capital gains tax or the death tax that comes at the end, but you're still going to pay it. Would you substitute a consumption tax to replace the revenue property tax every day of the week, Catherine? Sign me up. Every single day of the week, because I can control my consumption. Property tax ensures you'll never get free. As long as they can take your personal property from you because you didn't pay your taxes, you'll never reach freedom. I would take this trade every day of the week. Yeah, Lisa and I just watched it. Vaccine, another racketeering, 100%. You bet on that trust, and the Benny should be another trust. Yep, predictive programming. If we know we are in a war and they don't, doesn't that give us the element of surprise? Except the problem is they know, the people in charge certainly know and have known the whole time that we've been in a war. They've been waging this war against us, guys. This started a long time ago in separating the nuclear family. You know, it's even back before Vietnam and all of that. But I mean, you look at how they separated men and women through women's lib. And they took completely away what a man is and a woman is. You know, it's interesting, Mao over in China, who I think he killed 200 million people, probably the responsible for more deaths than any human in history. One of the things he did very early on is separate gender. They captured the women and they shaved their heads and they dressed them like men. And they did the same things to men because they didn't want unity between men and women or unity to the family. They wanted unity to the state. And what are we going through right now? Right?
Genderism.
Right. We talk about he's a she and she's a he, and I'm a cat and we're in the box and I'm the one that's not using the correct gender. How about the person that was, oh my goodness.
Well, there's 46 of them or something.
Whatever.
So. Whatever.
It can be confusing.
Yeah. Amerigeddon is another one, says No More Homestead. Yeah, I've watched that one several times. Yep. That is the dumbing down of America, the way they can bring in socialism. What's interesting about socialism is they use the word socialism and they use the word Marxism and they use the word Nazi and they use the word communism and they use all of these. But really what it comes down to is individualism and collectivism. It's really what it comes down to. If you guys watch this documentary, it talks a lot about this. Is it individual rights or is it what's better for the greater good? I mean, how many times did we hear it's for the greater good? How many times did they threaten to attack us? Right? Those people who didn't get a vaccine, when are we going to stop putting up with that? Was on every channel. They tried to bribe us, right? They offered money to get us to do it. They did all of these crazy things when at the end of the day, guys, we're a target. If you're on this channel, you're a target, whether you like it or you don't like it, right? Nothing is safe.
Boom, we just went down to 10 people.
Fine, whatever, take down to 10 people. Canada, when the vaccine stuff was going on, weaponized the banks. They gave the banks unilateral and arbitrary authority
when they freeze
to seize assets of people who spoke against the government. So you think your IRA is safe? You think your 401k is safe? I'm going to tell you something, guys. ESG is here today. It's been here for a while. The social credit score of China, it might not be as far and as evolved. But if you think any of that stuff's safe, you just wait. You wait till they turn that trigger of that great reset and all of that stuff that you thought was all part of the system and all wonderful and all that stuff won't be there anymore. And then you'll be back on here going, oh my God, what do I do? Well, should have already done it. It's the eternal war between those who want to be taken care of and those who want to take care of themselves. This is actually totally true. And one step closer, you ought to watch this documentary. You'd like it because they go into this into depth as well. Yes, the $600 IRS watch on bank accounts our government is trying to do so they know when money changes hands. Yeah, wait till the digital dollar comes out, right? Wait till all of that is fully implemented, which, guys, it's been implemented. They began implementing it back, was it July?
Oh, I thought it was before that. Was it this year?
I think it was this year in July when the first ones, where they first started to launch it. It's been in the works for years, but I think it was. one step closer so the good tax attorney can set up a permanent trust. It's how families like the Kennedys shield their assets till the rules change. But I agree with you. Helen says, I'm going to watch it. Please do. Pockery says 1 hour and 401 minutes. I think 41 minutes. Well, is it 41 minutes? Is it 1 minute or is it 40 minutes?
It's probably 401 minutes.
Hey, Gregory. Good evening. The excise tax was put in during the First World War, and we are still paying it. Mm-hmm. I think it was to end when the war was over. Well, they're never going to take them away, right? They just keep adding them.
Yeah, they don't take them away.
Yeah. You ever want to see something interesting? Google what was the tax rate during the American Revolution that we revolted against Great Britain for tax. There were a lot of reasons, but one of them was taxation without representation, and they revolted over a 4 or 5% tax rate versus the average American today paying 59% of their income in taxes. 59% of your energy capital goes so that we can send weapons to Ukraine.
It's only 59% though.
59% goes to gender studies. 59% goes to making sure we have litter boxes in classrooms for those who identify as a cat. 59% of your income. Are you proud? You proud we let it get this far? I know. I'm venting.
Good thing it's not 69%.
Right. Got a building with windows and doors, no electricity, no running water, and they called it a cabin. Why not a condo? Laugh out loud. It's a barn, peas and rice, wash hands.
Yep. We got that same situation. No running water, but you're worth how much? You're going to tax me on a building that I put together myself?
Mo's in the house. For those of you guys who don't know, I've known Mo a long, long time, and me and Mo debate these issues a lot, and often we're on different sides. No, that's not fair. It's not really different sides. Just the way we would go about something would be very, very different. And so I've had a lot of very deep, intimate conversations with Mo. But anyway, he says Galt would say it is not what you did; it was what you didn't do. If you stop giving the system your energy, they can't steal it from you. Decrease taxable income and work to build tax-efficient manner. That's pretty well said.
Smart guy.
Is that documentary from Clay Clark from Tulsa that Tulsa did? I went to the first Reawakening America conference in Broken Arrow in April of 2021. As far as I understand, this was done by this channel. I have not found anything that would tell me otherwise on the channel. And I just stumbled across it. As long as they can take your property from you for not paying taxes and they set the price for the taxes. That's right. You will never get free as long as we do this. We've got to get in this fight right here. This is such a big deal. Let me see here. Property and capital gains taxes are how they keep families from climbing up the wealth ladder. 100. Yeah, 100. I believe they're trying to break us into civil war. And that's what they want. Well, I think ultimately what they want is an obedient society. I mean, I think if you look at, Justin Trudeau of Canada, the World Economic Forum, Charles Schwab, all those guys, they always point to China as this great example of the way a country should run. So think about this. The leaders of the World Economic Forum, Canada, and some of these other places say that China's the model. Well, so let's look at what China's doing, right? They're a dictatorship. You can call it communism. You can call it collectivism. Give it whatever name you want to give it, right? But they have monitored all of their citizens. And did you know in China with that social credit score, if your score runs bad enough, you can't get a bank loan. You can't travel. Your 401k won't exist because you'll be penalized. As your score falls, your rights go away because your rights are given by government. Remember? All hail the Republic. How's that make you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the bottom line is this is a holy war, not against flesh and blood. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's part of me, One More Rock, that, and I see this point, but I think there's part of me that thinks that they used religion as a shield. That they don't care that none of them care at all about Allah or Christ or any of it, that's just all a scam. It's another way to divide people, right? Because the Muslims hate the Christians, just like the blacks hate the whites and the men hate women and boys hate girls and whatever it is. Farm Ranch says to Mo, I agree. I call it lowering your dollar footprint. Oh, I like that. That's a t-shirt. Lower your dollar footprint. It's just crazy. I make as little income as I can to Mo. Yeah, Mo, a lot of people agree with your point. Oops, you said too much. Now the bugging starts. Yeah, it's fine. We do whatever. I don't care. Yeah, again, buffering. Yeah. Let me see. On my end, everything seems to be fine. Everyone's talking about second quarter, March or April. You guys, we are going to have a shitstorm in 2024. We are absolutely going to do it because you got the election coming in. You've got the stuff going on in Russia and in Israel and in Venezuela, between Brazil. Now you've got North Korea popping off. Economic wise, they can shove the shit sandwich down your throat all you want that the economics are great. But you tell me, what did it cost you to fill the grocery cart last time you went to the store?
A lot more than normal.
Yeah, what property tax? I got a buddy who's got a 2006 Chevy pickup, and his property taxes doubled on that Chevy pickup between last year and this year because the values of it went up. So has your income gone up that? I mean, you people on Social Security got a 3.2% increase. Federal employees got a 5.5% increase, and yet the property tax is double. Even if you use the government's inflation numbers, it means that everybody that works for the government, to include those who are on Social Security, all took a pay cut. Drive me up a wall. Hey, Conserve Friends says digital ID will be declared as a safety measure. Yes, it will. Right? Never let a good crisis go to waste. Right? Create the problem, create the solution, all hail the Republic. You know, there was some examples of back during communist Russia and even in communist China way in the early days where a dissident, you know, someone who had opposed the government, they would have put them in prison and tortured them, put them back through rehabilitation, and then ultimately executed them. But there were some who were quoted being executed, right, on the line to be executed, that said things like, if this helps our nation, it's my pleasure to be part of it. My pleasure to sacrifice my life for it. Government's not the answer, guys. And you know, it's so crazy that all the things that go in our world, even the stuff with COVID, you know, people just assume that because the government says it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, we keep people in college for, 18 years to become a doctor. They become indoctrinated. Well, whatever's coming down the pipe has to be true.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a mess. Easy. Good night to you. Yeah. Oh, got it. Level down. It says just saying buffering and such is their tool. Good point. I thought you meant buffering that we're buffering. You know, I saw how the school government was teaching our children to be obedient followers in the late 80s through 90s. I made sure my son learned to think for himself. This is a great way to take it back right here. You know, Nitos, when I asked the question about what did we do in 2023 outside of our own existence, I mean, this is one thing, help kids learn to think for themselves. Go be a scout leader, whether you like the scouts or not. Go impact something, right, somewhere to make a difference, because it's all of our jobs. And if we get together, we can do it. You know, does anybody think that 15% of the population is dissatisfied with the way things are going? Is 15% a good number? About 20%. Do you think 20% of the population is dissatisfied? We're about 30, 40. If we'd stop letting them divide us, we would stop falling for the bullshit. I promise you, there are plenty of numbers, but they just got to keep us fighting each other.
Yeah.
You know, if we do that, they got nothing to worry about. Yep. Print some more cash, please. Yeah. Someone once said, no one will educate you well enough to overthrow them. Great quote. Absolute great quote. Bake with a consulate, do not take the mark of the beast, use barter and other ways to live and thrive. Well, let's learn how to do that today. Right, Banquet? Yeah. Let's get working on these intentional neighborhoods that we talk about. Let's work on these counter economies and parallel economies and the way we can do business amongst each other. Let's get on it today, because trying to develop these things and trying to implement these things in the middle of all the harshness will be very, very hard. Leather says real men need to find young men and help and teach. Yep, do something. Leather, I could not agree more. Reach out. Everybody find a way. Everybody do something tomorrow that furthers freedom outside of your own existence. Everybody. And the next day do the same thing, and the next day do the same thing, and let's go get in the fight.
Isn't that do your part plus a little?
Do your part plus a little. If all we worry about is what's going on my homestead and how I'm free and how I'm building on my systems, all I'm doing is making it that I may not be the first one to be imprisoned. That's all that means. We've got to do much, 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 much more. I ran out of tallow, so traded honey for some. Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The ants and the grasshoppers. Yep, the ants and the grasshoppers. One clown in office control rules whether Hitler or China or America should not be allowed to control billions of its people. It's irrationally insane, and this must be stopped, and we need a solution. Yeah, unfortunately, you have to be the solution, Helen. Waiting around, we have been convinced that this two-party system, that we're going to wait for some list of people on a ballot, and then those people that are on the ballot, we're going to elect somebody who's going to go make change. By the time you see the ballot, it's already too late. You're picking between the Republicrats. There is no answer there. We've got to go start getting involved. We've got to get busy every single day, and we have to find a way to do something outside of our own existence to push freedom. Hippocrates says, yeah, we should get on to a new topic because I'm just going to rant all night long. Love Runs Rampant says, oh, no, don't bring up honey, especially by the barrel. Or Hippocrates does. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gizmo says, did Bee get her honey? Yes, barrels of honey. So the guy that with the honey, as soon as Bee talked to him, was leaving for the holidays, right?
Yeah.
And so he's not back yet. So if Bee wants to buy a barrel of honey, I give in, and she's welcome to buy a barrel of honey. There, you guys heard it right there. See here?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But here's the but. For every $1 she spends on honey, I get guns.
There's no but.
Oh, are we circling back to the honey conversation? Yes, we are, apparently. Apparently we are.
Because the buck stops at the honey.
Have bucket will travel. Well, you guys want to see some other things we've been up to? So I'll share something. So this is a picture of my shower in pod 4, and Bee has picked out the tiles that she wants. So the little round tile we're going to use for the floor, the black tile we're going to use for some of the walls, and the wood grain tile we're going to use
for the other walls.
For some of the other walls. This is funny. Hippocrates says, and 2 equals 1. So,
yeah.
So now they're trying to get me to commit to the second barrel.
Right.
See how that works?
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Yeah. No.
He knows what this comes from.
Oh, Rain Country, good evening to you. Says 1 gun for every $1 is a good deal. That is a good deal, babe. I agree. So you can spend
for every $1?
Yes.
No.
Yes. I like her deal better than my deal.
I think she meant dollar for dollar.
I think she's a better negotiator than I am.
$1,200 for honey, $1,200 for a gun. That's what she means.
Yeah. Well, I'll take that deal. So whatever you spend in honey, I'm going to go buy a gun.
You've already over purchased in your gunnage.
You have already over purchased in many things.
Not the honey.
So do I need to pick a new topic? I'll start collecting, thermal
tools.
Scopes.
Like,
no, that's the deal we get. Whatever you spend, I'm going to spend.
I think yours were tools and guns, and you are far beyond you have exceeded your daily allotment. Your
American Prepper says, I could be wrong, but my answer is Civil War. See, here's the thing, though, guys, about this. And I've thought a lot about this issue. You have to understand that World War III is not being fought with guns. It's not being fought with tanks.
And helicopters.
It's economic warfare. It's surveillance warfare. It's propaganda warfare. Mm-hmm. It's being waged in our schools. It's being waged in our churches, and it's being waged locally. So if what you're saying is, American Prepper, that a civil war is a war of economics, a civil war is a war for our schools, I'm in. I'll do it tomorrow. But the fact of the matter is, a military type uprising will never work. We have to ignore them. We have to create our own systems. And at least that's what I believe as of today. So anyway, so this is what's going in the shower. I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited to get in there and get it done, but it's amazing what happens when you have power. You can actually do some of that.
You can't cut tile without a tile saw.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be true.
You need to have electricity to cut the tiles.
Yeah, Toby says you can never have too many guns. I agree. Does Tag realize that some desserts are sweetened with honey? Yeah, actually, a lot of my desserts are sweetened with honey, right? Hey, Mandy. I'm glad that you're here. Hippocrates says that all American problems. The problem with Civil War is it's the ultimate division. Well, the other thing is that we've allowed our rights to be eroded in a way we can never compete. It's just you. I mean, it's just not going to happen, in my opinion. At least I don't see it. Could be wrong, but yeah. And I actually think Jules is part of this is right. Is that they're doing all this to kind of push us that way. I think they want discord in the streets. I think it's helpful to them because if there's a big problem, they can have new rules to give them new power, and they can come in and save the day.
Well, yeah, if we're collecting together and we have the views together, then they don't want that. They want us fighting each other. Then we're not fighting them.
Helen, you can't see it very good because there's concrete dust on it, but that blue tape right there is on top of the drain that you can see down in the floor, down there.
Yeah.
FYI, it's there.
We have it covered.
We are being baited. I would agree with this. Look at this. All these. They're pushing a civil war agenda. Do not comply. Yep. Non-kinetic but electronic, economic, and moral dumpster fire is a massive conflagration. Yeah. See, this is what World War III is, in my opinion. And the longer that I study it and the more I get deep into it, the more I realize that it's been something been waged against us for a long time. And they've been waging against the nuclear family for a long time. They've been waging against the sanctity of marriage. They've been waging against so many things for a long time. They're trying to get us to divide on the simplest things. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. What you do in your bedroom behind closed doors, I don't give a shit. I don't care.
The moral dumpster fire.
Just because I disagree with somebody don't mean I dislike them.
Right.
See, this is the issue. I mean, there's a lot of things. Mo was in here earlier tonight. Him and I have disagreed on many topics. Love the guy to death. It's fine. We disagree. And so I think we have to stop letting them divide us. And we have to get to stop allowing them for us to hate somebody based on a choice that they made.
No, they teach us that.
Of course they teach us that.
They teach us that in church even.
Of course they teach us that. We have to stop allowing it. Hey, Toby, good night to you. The greater the danger, the greater the potential power increase. For whom wins, it's a gamble willing to take at the expense of the citizenry. Yes. And the worse the problem is, and guys, we're going to have some problems coming up here in 2024, right? Because you got this election coming up, which I think is a huge deal. They don't have very many Band-Aids left to Band-Aid the economic situations. And there's war raging all over across the globe. Countries are telling their citizens to prepare every single day. Whatever this is that gives them this new increased power will have to be significant. You can never have too many guns because you do not know how many you may have to hand out to people. Could be true. They want a civil war to be able to bring down the hammer on us with martial law so they can remove our remaining rights and steal the next, assuming she meant election. I really struggle with the whole election thing because I just cannot believe that Biden would have won that election. I have such a hard time, and I'm not a Trump fan. You guys know this about me. I am not. I think it's absolutely remarkable that Biden and Trump is the best this country had to offer. Guys, it's the Republicans. It's the same thing. But anyway, I don't want to get into all that. But if you believe that Biden was the most popular president in the history of America, and he won the election fair, I think then it's fine to have some hope in the election. But I don't have any hope because you cannot convince me of that.
He got more votes than anybody.
Unless America's just a whole bunch of idiots.
No.
Because you could see right through all of that stuff. There's just no way. I would imagine that a Trump-Biden election, you'd have some of the lowest turnout ever. Not the most ever. And never let a good crisis go to waste. Yep. Yeah. I could not agree more. I fought fire for years with people I wouldn't invite to dinner. I trusted them fully on the fire ground. That's right. And we can continue to do those things. Oh my gosh. I'm so far behind you guys. I'm going to skip down here. Lover and them said he didn't win. I do have some concern with my husband because he's a truck driver. War with politicians, not each other. That's what they want us fighting amongst each other. Mr. Rain, you're 100% correct. 100%. We have got to fight the divide. Guys, it doesn't matter if somebody lives a life that's different than you and makes different choices. It doesn't matter. There's plenty of things you guys can agree upon. We have to stop allowing that to get into us, and I've used this example a million times, for me, homosexuality is wrong, but I don't dislike somebody because of it. It's fine. Do your thing. It's not for me, but it doesn't mean we hate. Let's sit down and talk about all the millions of things we can get along about and that we can agree about, like we're being played against each other and that we're being told to hate each other. I don't hate anybody for the personal choices that they make. As long as it don't affect me and remove my freedoms, I'm in. Look at the last 3 years where all these riots happened. No one could sell their homes for what they were worth. Of course not. And that's because BlackRock and the government came in to, get them in pennies. 100% correct. And they don't want you to own anything. They want you to be dependent on the government. Ballot harvesting and cheating helps. That's what I'm saying. So if they pulled that one off, what makes you think that
any of these other ones are going to be
Yeah.
legit? any of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Ever.
So we're going to go through that whole rigmarole again, and they're going to need to create a problem in order to create a solution, right? We're going to go through that whole same thing again. I hope you're prepared. I don't believe he was elected. He was selected. J6 was a huge push to the start of Civil War. There's so much to the whole January 6th thing. And talk about losing your personal freedoms, right? For something no more than protesting, which, by the way, is your right. You know, the Constitution guarantees you this right. But as Justin Trudeau says, well, you only have that right if you're not critical of the government.
If you don't speak up for what we don't want you to speak up for.
That's right.
Then you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, they make us believe we have a choice. We don't. We do not. You guys, they're the Republicrats. There is no political solution to what we're going through. There's no political solution to what we're going through. We cannot vote our way out of this. This is not how this works. I'm telling you, you can't do it. They're going to go on. And as long as they can keep us divided, oh, the Democrats and the Republicans.
Oh, those Christians and those Jews.
Yeah. As long as they can keep us divided, we'll keep roaring the side, and they get behind the scenes at, up there in Sweden for the, G7 meetings, and they laugh and have cigars together, both the Republicans and Democrats, and how stupid we are. Never going to happen.
It's the Truman Show.
The Truman Show. Can't decide what to wear to the Black Swan event, Gary says. I don't know either. Eagle Ever says, Tag, have you seen the real footage of January 6th? I've seen a lot of the real footage from January 6th. Some of it. Yeah, and it's a scam. The whole thing is such a scam, and there's people still in jail even after all this evidence. So what does that mean? Evidence doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's going to come a time where they come for the dissenters. Guys, there's going to come a time.
Well, the evidence didn't matter in the election. The evidence doesn't matter in J6. It's not.
Justin Trudeau gave us the blueprint. China has given us the blueprint. They will weaponize the banking system. They will take everything from you and make you dependent upon them. So just keep putting it in the stock market. Pete says, I wonder if black swans taste like chicken. Doesn't they say everything tastes like chicken? Rain Country said blood and crips. Yep. Oh, yeah. I'm going to butcher this last name. Yuri Bezmenov laid it all out in the 1983 interview. There's another guy, too, E. Edward Griffin from the 60s, who talked a lot about the takeover of communism. You go back and read some of his stuff. He talked a lot about those kind of things. We can't vote ourselves out of this. That is correct. Guys, we have to change the system. Right? We have to be the difference every single day. We can't sit behind and wait for the ballots to come. It ain't going to work. This is why I said, what have you done outside of your own existence to further freedom this year? What have you done? Because if the answer is nothing, then you're getting exactly what you deserve. Political prisoners, most haven't been charged, let alone tried and convicted. Yep, Catherine Austin Fitz explained how BLM riots were in cities with Federal Reserve banks so they could buy up the property for pennies for their 15-minute cities. Yep, and we just keep frickin' falling for it.
Wow.
If the top 1% keeps fighting us amongst each other, they have nothing to worry about. That's exactly correct. If we just keep fighting it, so we keep hating each other because we look different, because we act different, because we have different beliefs or different tastes.
Not all of us are equal.
Right? None of us are equal.
Some of us are more equal than others.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Rain, this is absolutely perfectly said. The issue is divide. The number one thing we can do is come together as a people. We can put aside these petty differences that keep us separated. And we can stand together and we can demand more. You want to make change? Go in these little itty bitty cities and put 75 people in a county commissioner's office demanding change. That's how you do it. And you keep doing it and you keep doing it and you keep doing it. And you make sure they know that you're watching, and it begins to change from the inside out, because you're not going to do it from the top down. I told the commissioners today that I no longer believed that change was possible at the federal level. Because I don't. I think the change has to come the other way. And we have to get to a point where we stand up and say no. Or we can just sit and store some more rice. Which is why my retirement plan keeps moving from dollar to hardware. Yep. Yeah. Oh, Rain. Yeah, Goebbels and Goring. Yeah. These, for those guys, anybody who don't know, These were high-ranking officers in the German army, and it's so crazy how the herd mentality convinced the Germans to do all the things that they did, right? To the Jews, but we're experiencing it today. It's happening right now in our civilization. How many people said the unvaccinated should be punished?
Yeah.
I mean, you had celebrities. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right, was on TV saying it. All these personalities were saying that to hell with your freedoms, as I quote Arnold Schwarzenegger from that day. So no, he said, I'm sorry, screw your freedoms is what he said. Right? It's being done today. And the problem is, guys, you and I, we're the Jews. We're the Jews of 2023, right?
Ouch.
Just like you can't tax your way into prosperity, 100%. Anything done with evil, even for good use, is still evil. But they convince people that they're doing it for a good cause.
They think they're doing it right.
That's right.
They think they're doing it for good.
It's for the greater good, right?
Yeah.
It's absolutely for the greater good. That's why I feel like we're going to have to fight them. Yeah, I think that the thing is, I don't disagree with you, All-American Prepper. I think it's the definition of fight that we disagree upon. Because I think we have to wage economic warfare. I think we have to do it that way, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that's going to win. And I think the definition is fight there, bud. Griffin interviewed Bezmenov. Griffin wrote The Creature from Jekyll Island. Gregor says, Black Swan event attire. I believe I would wear my great-grandfather's Civil War saber. That is actually good. Look how they have torn down men, toxic masculinity. Yeah, well, they've torn down women too. I think it's amazing that they've taken away what makes a woman such a fascinating creature.
They don't even know what a woman is.
They can't even define a woman. I could define a woman real easy, but it's amazing to me that they've stripped that from us. You know, when we were talking about Mao back from, when he killed 200 million people, a whole bunch of people. But one of the first things he did is gender neutral everything. Yeah,
make them alike.
But because they don't want the commitment to the family and to each other, they want the commitment to the state. Yeah. And this is a classic, whether you call it communism, Marxism, whatever it is. This is that classic, process they go through, right? Then they take away guns, and they take away property rights, right? Because they want the solution to only be them. That's right, and they're doing it to us again. They're doing it to us right now.
Don't see it.
Very few people see it. In fact, most of them go along because they want to be, kind, and they want to.
Well, they don't want to be pointed out. They don't want to be different.
Yep. If we stood together, that's what they fear. Ever watched Bug's Life? Yeah. What a great example Bug's Life is, right? Yep. Watch Bug's Life with your kids, everybody, and explain to them what that means. What a great way. Later, all. Leather Homestead, thank you for all you've done.
See you next year.
You've made my life better, and I will see you next year. Yeah, we are the contestants from the movie Rat Race. I think Bethany's example earlier were the Truman Show. I think our government needs a Bud Light moment. Carrie, super well said. Seriously, that is super, super, super well said. They need to be canceled, which is exactly what happened to Bud Light. Right? But we got to start doing something about it. We can't just sit back and wait. For years and years, I hid in my garden, and I hid in my preparations, and I hid in these things because that way when something happens, I'll be okay. Pretty quick, there ain't going to be nobody left to fight, guys. It's time we get in the fight. It's time we do something about it. First, they were erasing men, and now they're erasing women. I think it's a shame that they take what makes a king and what makes a queen away. My wife's the queen of this house, and she's worshipped as the queen of this house, just as it should be. My wife is my number one confidant. And for them to remove any of that, or to try to put tension between that, my position as the king of my house is no more important than her position of the queen. They're just different. Guess what? We're not equal. Agreed?
Yeah.
Just absolutely crazy. Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger's dad was an SS German Nazi commander. Yeah. Charles Schwab. Go back and read him a little bit.
Charles Schwab.
Schwab. What did I say?
I don't know.
Yeah, Charles Schwab. Go back from the World Economic Forum. His dad was as well. If you stand up to their agenda, they cancel you. That's why many people are afraid of it. Okay, I agree 100%. So cancel me. Shut my YouTube channel off. Fine. But until then, I get to go fight. And in the meantime, instead of just doing it here on YouTube, I'm doing it at the local level, and I'm getting involved, and I'm trying to affect the community. Guys, you guys know we're growing the community here in Kansas, but the fact of the matter, it needs to grow everywhere. We need to get up off our chair, and we need to go do it. And we need to be committed to do it, and we need to be intentional. Who is working for who? Ain't that the magic question? Hey, Pete, good night to you. Happy New Year to you, my friend. You see, my woman is meaner than a bag of snakes, right? Right? I promise you, my friends would rather fight me than be.
Well, yeah.
You know, they make it about something that it's not, you know. Jules says, first they came for the 100%. Problem is they print the money. Yeah, well, it's because we've given them the power to do exactly that. We haven't demanded, you know, we haven't risen up and demanded and say that this has to be backed by something. We need sound money. You know, we haven't done those things, which is exactly why we are where we are. Anti-Jack says, Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year to you too. Anti-at-Jack says, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Hey, thanks for helping me learn. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, guys, this is a journey for me too. Yeah. I'm learning all the time. I'm studying all the time. And I'm you know, hoping that I get to grow next year a whole bunch and get even smarter, you know, as I go along. So let me see here. Patrick is going to get the frying pan. Yeah, that's good. That is absolutely good. Conservative friends creating parallel economy and society. Yep, I think that is the key. I think the more we do that, the better we're going to win and the less dependent we are. Debt is slavery, guys. Any services that we depend on them from is slavery. Anything that you're made to pay and don't have a choice is slavery.
Which is so crazy to look at like that.
Mm-hmm. Is there a better way?
No, but they don't teach us that growing up.
Of course they don't.
So now you look at it and you go, I would rather not buy that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Instigator was talking about it earlier about no one's going to teach you how to overthrow them.
Right, which totally makes sense.
Right. I hope I quoted that right. If it wasn't Instigator and it was somebody else, I apologize. But I believe it was Hippocrates Garden that said that, you know, earlier in our conversation. But we have got to get smart. We have got to go do something about it. And there's a lot of reasons that get us here, guys. Government isn't the cause, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're the cause. We got to do more, you know, and this is ultimately where it comes from. Well, guys, it's been over 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 7 minutes. And I still need to go take a shower. Now, you know what's so crazy about this is I had all kinds of slides in here to share with you guys tonight about news that's going on and all that, but I guess we just didn't get to it. Maybe I'll save it for the next slide. But before we get out of here, B, you have any parting words that you want to talk about?
You know, we talked it wasn't even last week, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We talked 2 weeks ago about that we're all learning, and just to don't be closed-minded, always be learning. And that's how, you know, us going through this dark phase, you know, this was not the first time we have ever been without power, but this was the longest that we had been without. This was the longest stretch that we had been without power. And when we are learning to get better at things, we also have to be tolerant of our downfalls and each other's downfalls.
How about celebrating them?
So, yeah. Yes. Because in the end, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Yes.
It's a lot, but it is also so rewarding because, you know, we have been trying to get to this journey, and it has been a
journey,
an uphill battle. And
freedom's not a destination, but
it is. No.
Happiness, all of those things, success, they're not destinations.
Right. We will celebrate our wins.
We're going to celebrate our journey along the way.
And learn along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my parting words to you guys is, and I'm going to steal this from The Great Awakening, which I hope all of you guys go watch. I'm seriously go watch it. But I'm going to steal this from them. And they didn't say it this way. This is just how I'm going to say it. But do you guys know who maybe the number one person you can thank for your freedom is? Do you have any idea? Who would you say the number one? George Washington or Thomas?
I was going to say your mother.
No, I'm talking about for your freedom. Our freedom as Americans. Any ideas?
The way back to the Constitution. What are you talking about? Like,
if you could put,
without that, we would be in.
If you could thank one person,
for
the freedoms this country's given us, and given my dad and his dad and his dad and his dad, what's the one person you'd lay it on? You don't have to answer, guys. The answer is King George, because at the end of the day, without the tyranny of King George, we wouldn't have fought for our freedom. And sometimes you got to go through the shit, right, to come out the other side. Hate to say it that way. Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you guys on Friday. I'll try to get better at putting out some more videos. I've just been super wrapped up. I've got a lot of stuff going on business-wise that I'm trying to get finished up, but we'll try to get back to it. But we will see you guys very, very soon. And I guess, what do you say?
Hold the line.
What
Don't
else?
give an inch.
What else?
Be out.
Tag out. See you guys. Good night, everybody.